Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 83. Today we got someone a little bit different. Normally we have endurance athletes, but I think today's going to be a good one because we have Singapore Rugby Union, right? Maurice Wong. How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Martin.
Yeah, no worries. Maurice, you are having rugby union. You're on the Singapore national team, right? And you've been there for 8 years.
Yep. All right. So I am Maurice, first and foremost. I've been playing rugby since I was 8, so it's about 23 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just gave my age away. But yeah, so I've been playing for 23 years. It's quite an interesting story how I started rugby, actually. So, basically, I was in St. Andrew's Junior School, and the coach was just going around classroom to classroom to...
It's a big rugby school, right?
Yeah, it's a big rugby school. He was just going around classroom to classroom to just recruit players, and then my form teacher at the time was like, "Oh, Maurice, you should give it a try." And I was like, "What's this?"
But were you a bigger kid in anything, or taller than everyone else, or stronger than everyone else?
Nah, the reason she actually picked me was because I was class monitor, and she was like, "Oh, I think rugby requires a lot of discipline, so I think you'll fit in." Yeah, so I went in, and then I just started that journey. Thankfully, my parents were pretty supportive of it. Like my mom was worried. I mean, as mothers were, right? I have no idea how she knows about rugby, but apparently she knew it was a dangerous sport.
I think it's got a reputation as being a dangerous sport, right? I grew up watching rugby because I'm from Australia, right? So then rugby is a big part of Australian sport. And I kind of lost touch with it recently, but it is not dangerous, but it's very physical, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how physical it is. Like, so Fahrenheit, the clinic, right? We cover rugby games, right? And then we got the physio on the side of the pitch and runs out and helps every once in a while. And then I went down and watched one of the games, and it was just a schoolboys game, right?
Yep.
And when people hit the ground, you feel it, right? It's when you're watching on a TV, you can't see that, and you can feel it, and then there's right? It's pretty rough.
Honestly, those are the moments we live for. But you don't want to be on the receiving end. You want to be the one giving it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So when you were 8,
Yeah, I was 8 years old, and then so my parents were very supportive because both my parents worked while I was growing up, so they entertained my idea of being burnt out on the rugby field, and they come home and I just sleep, and then they don't have to bother about
bouncing off the walls when they get home.
No sugar rush to deal with, nothing. So they were like very happy with it, and then keeps me out of trouble. And
so St. Andrews, I guess, they have a primary school team. And what were you, P2, P3, I guess? 8 years old.
P2, yeah. P2.
Okay.
It was so the whole journey was pretty. It was nice because you made a lot of close friends that I'm still friends with at this age. A lot of good memories. But to be honest, like when we even now looking back, like we were training really hard. Like in
this primary school.
Imagine you are 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
What do you do during recess? Kick back, eat, run around, play football with your class.
Play chasing or tag or something, right?
Yeah, we were flipping tires at 10 years old.
You got some sadistic PE teachers.
Yeah, like our coach pulls us out from recess and be like, okay, we're going to train during recess to prepare for the national school games. So it's pretty full on, and it was well worth because we swept under 11s, under 13s, we won everything. And
because St. Andrews, that's the one that's right next to the PIE entrance, right?
Correct.
So no matter when you drive past, there's always people on that field. They're always practicing or training or something,
right?
Yeah.
The field is always busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say at the point in time being young and like, young, basically just immature, like I felt like, okay, like there was nothing else to do anymore. Like I've achieved what I wanted to achieve with rugby at that point in time. So after PSL, I actually didn't want to go to St. Andrew's Secondary. I didn't want to play rugby anymore, to be honest.
Okay.
And I wanted to try playing football.
Okay. Yep.
So the option was to try to get into a school that could play, that I could play football. But sadly, I'm not academically smart.
So your PSLE grades, you couldn't DSA and...
Yeah, so my PSLE grades weren't great. And no choice. I was like, okay, I guess it's back to St. Andrew's.
Well, you did good. You're on the national team now, right? So, so I guess all the way through secondary school, you played rugby national.
Yeah. So I mean, God works in wonderful ways, right? So thankfully he had a good plan for me. But I regret my secondary 1 and secondary 2 years, so 13, 14, because my head wasn't in like rugby. Like I just wanted to do something different. So I was still attending trainings, but it's like, so you just
not motivated and just not getting the most out of it, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I was just breezing through it, and then it hit me because St. Andrews Secondary is pretty strong rugby as well. We're a good rugby school, and then traditionally we always make finals, so it's top 2. But when I was Sec 2, we actually lost to Barker Road, ACS Barker Road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't make finals, and we got a huge shelling, and that really woke me up. Like, it's like, okay, it's time to take rugby more seriously right now.
Yep.
So then,
traditionally, so you just mentioned ACS Barker, right? ACS Independent, RI, SJI, St. Andrews. Why is it, like, those are the fancy schools in Singapore, right? Why are those the strong schools? Is there a reason? Like, why couldn't Gunning Sing have a rugby team, right?
I feel like the reason why they're very strong schools is because they have good history and a good development plan. And it's a bit like when you watch football, the Premier League, right? Everybody wants to go to the top 6 clubs in England. It's sort of similar in rugby.
Yeah. So do they DSA pretty hard for rugby?
Yeah. So like usually, so back in my time in secondary school, I was quite blessed in that I was able to sort of help run the DSA trials. So there was a batch of boys that like to GC, and you'll be amazed there were like 100 kids coming for a DSA trial, and they're only offering like 15 sports. Yeah. Which is
so very covered with 15 sports.
Yeah,
right?
and the sad thing is that if these players don't, obviously you're gonna have 85 of them miss out, right, on St. Andrews, and if they don't get into the others, then they probably go to a neighborhood school and never play rugby.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? They don't continue that pathway.
Correct, but it's interesting as well because sometimes you get a little, like you get a curveball. Like you have a wildcard school. For example, during my time back then, the wildcard school was Greenridge Secondary and Junior Secondary that comes out of nowhere with a batch of decently proper good rugby players that challenge you. Yeah. And that makes the rugby more interesting. But we need more of this, obviously. Yeah. And I think everybody needs to know, like, yes, you want to hit the big schools, right? But it doesn't mean that if you miss on the big schools, your dream is over. Like you can go to somewhere else that has rugby. And they do have pretty talented coaches up there in this age, because I know most of them. Yeah. So just trust the system, go through.
So there are heartland schools out there that will have pretty decent rugby programs.
100%. Like just the most recent one would be Montfort Secondary. Okay. Yeah, they're going through quite a big hoo-ha about it. I think it came out in the papers and stuff because they wanted to. The principal shut down the CCA. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, and then the old boys actually petitioned for him to put it back in. Okay. And it went through. Thankfully, it went through because it's the sad reality is that the government is closing down more schools, right? Merging schools.
Yeah, merging schools.
So if existing schools close down CCAs as well, then the number of talents gonna.
Because if you're a junior, like I guess 12 to 16, 18 years old, and you're not playing for a school, are there clubs out there that they can play for as well, or are there sort of development teams out there?
Yep. So the development pathway right now, it's way more developed, more mapped out compared to back in when I was starting out. Because last time when I started out playing rugby, it was purely schools. Yeah. You don't have any clubs to go for, or rather there were clubs. The only club that I knew of at that point in time was Centaurs. Yes. Which still exists right now, but most of us were like local, so we don't really go to there because it's more expat. Yeah. But currently, like even St. Andrews, the club, the alumni, they have a junior wing that starts kids from the age of 5.
Is that to hopefully develop them to become senior school players as well, or is it completely separate?
I mean, honestly, the end goal is obviously to hope that they will stay in the system and keep playing rugby, right? But when you're so young at like 5, you probably don't really know what you're really doing out there.
And the games are just like
So to me, I would say like at that age, 5 to 10, even 5 to 12, it's more about exploration, like knowing how your body moves, learning the movements, just enjoying yourself, having fun. And then once you kick past 12 years old, if you love the sport, go all in for it.
Yeah, man. Guess let's break into 3 sections. We got junior school, we got senior school, and then you got adulthood.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're in the junior school, is it just a CCA, or are you actually training like 5 times a week? Is it pretty, like swimmers, right? Swimmers are doing so many sessions a week, right? Is that the same for rugby?
Yeah. So I think, okay, I can't speak for the other schools, but back in St. Andrews Junior, yes, we were training, if I remember correctly, we were training 5 times.
If St. Andrews is training 5 times, ACS is training 6 times, and the Raffles is probably going to train 7 times, right?
Yeah. Because the competition is pretty intense at a point of time. So it's like, yeah, we were training pretty hard, and it's like some days, like I said, we train in recess and then we train after school. And it's like, we didn't really complain because, like I said, we were just kids running around and like we was just having fun, and like it was tiring and stuff like that, but you have so much energy.
So once you hit secondary school, training starts to be more focused, but you're still training 5 times a week, like every day, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And in secondary school, it changed because we no longer sort of have that luxury of training during recess, because they stagger our recess times just to avoid overcrowding. So what we actually do is train before school starts.
Oh, okay. And school starts at like 7.
Yeah,
7:30, right?
It's like 6 a.m., 6:30. You're out there running laps and doing some passing, some skill stuff, and then you wash up, you go to class, and then after school you're back on the field again.
And it's not like it's just you're just running or swimming. You're actually banging against each other, and you're doing this stuff, and then you go to class, and then you do it again after school as well. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, like that's where you see like the real passion lives in the boys, and it's memories that you really form together.
And then now you're in the senior team, or you're an adult playing rugby, right? I'm assuming that you guys all have day jobs, right? Because there's no professional sports in Singapore really, right? So you do something 9 to 5, and then you either train in the morning, train in the evening. How much commitment is it?
Okay, so in terms of commitment level for the national program, currently we're training about 6 days a week, so Monday through to Saturday, and then Sunday is our off day.
Okay.
So it's like so we usually have Monday to Wednesday whereby we are training as a team. Then Tuesday, Thursdays you can pick your time to train, and then Saturday we will train in the morning or afternoon depending on field availability, and that's a team session as well.
And then what do you do for a job? Are you 9 to 5, or are you quite flexible with your hours, or how do you work around all this training? So that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you go for an overseas trip with work, right? You got to miss so many sessions.
Yeah. So like for me, like I think because at the end of the day, I just love rugby too much. Way too much. My own
so rugby is dictating your work.
Yeah. So
rugby. So you work around rugby, not rugby around work.
Correct. Yeah, I work around rugby. So I'm just doing very flexible hours job. So currently I'm doing personal training, and I do insurance as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So just flexible hours, working around, so I can fit in the timings for training. And then, I just go all in for it.
So how many hours a week are you guys training?
So for myself, like I would train probably 20 hours. Oh, for God, a week.
Okay, that's a lot.
About I mean, obviously we're not even taking into account like the amount of time you spend doing your own recovery as well, which takes up a huge.
So how much of that is technique, and how much of that is endurance, and how much of that is like strength?
I would say because I'm playing rugby sevens at this point in time. It's like 60% physical, 40% mental.
Yeah, it is.
It's rugby sevens itself. It's an endurance sport as well.
Yeah. So let's get to that. You rugby sevens is 7-a-side, so same size field, 7-a-side, so it's much faster, and the gaps are bigger, and there's much more running.
Yep.
So does that mean that you go out and run and go for jogs and do 5Ks, 10K runs when you're not training, just to keep that stamina and endurance up?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I try to, but most of the time your legs are so dead. It's just
Yeah. But you still gotta. But at the end of the day, you still need to train to be able to run that fast, right?
Correct. Yeah. So it requires a lot of willpower, to be honest. Like most of it is just mental and like looking after your body.
So what do you do mentally to stay focused?
So for me, actually, like the last year and a half, I started seeing a sports psychologist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with the Singapore Sports Institute. So that's pretty nice. That's nice.
Do you feel like that helps a lot?
100%. Yeah, and to be honest, like I did regret when I first started it because I regret because I was like, oh dang, I should have done this way earlier.
Yeah.
But better late than never. Because it has really propelled me and it's helped me a lot. And this is something I've been trying to just tell my younger teammates nowadays. Like,
so how many people on the team as would be you think sing sports psych?
To be honest, I think 0.
Oh, really? So
I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing rugby. Like that's a man's game, and man,
talking about your feelings is not what you guys hang around and do, right?
Like, oh no, I'm alright, and then in there you're hurting, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit harder, but like,
but you totally feel the difference, and
100%,
and you would recommend it to everybody, right?
100%. Yeah, I'm still trying to get to where I need to be or want to be.
So what sort of stuff do they talk? Do you go through?
So an example of it, like to me, like my biggest stumbling block is I always question myself. So I do lack a bit of self-confidence in that sense.
Anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like when you make a mistake, right? And then you just be like, oh, I just keep thinking back why that happened.
You just run it back through your head, and then you think of all the ways you could redo it, but it's already too late, right? The game goes on.
Yeah, and so it's like once that happens, you're no longer in the present.
Yeah.
And then you keep thinking about what has happened. The game is going on, and then you just screwed.
Yeah. Life is like that, right? Yeah. It's like
crazy.
Anything in life, it could be like that. You can miss an opportunity, or you could break up with somebody and then you'll regret it. But things have moved on, and you can't just keep thinking about the past all the time, right?
Correct. So it's like learning how to then pull myself back into reality, into the present moment, and just keep moving on. Yeah. So like we're quite big in the sevens setup in our team right now. We have this thing called next job.
Yep.
So it's just whatever's happened, we just flush it, move on, next job, let's go, next.
Yeah, because you can't change. You can't change it, right? And even if you're down by 10 points, you just need to work chip away at it.
Keep going. Yeah. The moment you lose is when you give up. So if you don't give up, you won't lose. So just keep going. Yeah.
And then are you doing anything dietary to keep you guys, because you're so big, right? Finally on this podcast I have someone as big as you. Normally I have as big as me, I should say. Normally I have little runners and triathletes, right? So do you have to watch what you eat, or is it because you need to stay bulky and you can just eat whatever you want?
So to be honest, even for myself, like my own personal training philosophy, when I do my PT with my clients, I'm not a big person that harps a lot on nutrition.
Okay.
I would say do everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Obviously, in moderation means you can't be having McDonald's one meal a day, like daily, right?
Yeah.
Or you can't be having McDonald's once a week, sort of thing. But if let's say once a month, if let's say you really have no choice,
don't beat yourself up too much about it.
Yeah.
If you do find yourself at a party with pizza, right?
Yeah, like if you have to do it, just do it, and then work harder to burn it off after. So for myself as well, like there are basic stuff that I try to avoid. So like fast food, definitely a big avoid. Fried food.
Yep.
And ice cream.
Ice cream, you avoid ice cream because it's too easy to eat.
It's not, because I have poor self-control. A pint of Ben & Jerry, once I start, it's finishing.
Okay, so how long have you been national team? You've been 8 years, right? Of those 8 years, what sort of opponents have you played?
So we play with mainly Southeast Asian countries, and sometimes we do play against some Asian countries. So for example, we played against China, Korea, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong would probably be quite good, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong is pretty full on
because they also have a sevens or some.
The bigger countries in Asia playing proper like professional sevens is Hong Kong, Japan, and China. China is pretty full on.
So which is your toughest opponent or toughest match that you've ever played in so far?
Sadly, I haven't had the chance to play against Japan, I think Japan would have been interesting. But I would say China. China was quite a quite a handful. Like we were quite humble.
Yeah. So when you play an opponent like that, is it are they just bigger than you, or more technical than you, or fitter than you? What is it that normally sets the opponents apart?
To be honest, the one thing that really stands out most of the time is just that they're way bigger than us. Like
They are.
yeah, like at least like the smallest bloke is always bigger than our
There's
smallest.
1.5 billion people to choose from, right? They can find bigger people.
Correct. So it's like we always joke and say like they just made it being made in a factory. It's just come out the same. Like yeah. So definitely the size does suit them to some extent, but I would also say like in terms of technical skills wise, we can sort of match up.
Yeah.
But because they have more hours spent probably together. So
And do they have a better ecosystem to is like their sports institute bigger, or there's more money in the game for them, or is there a professional league that they all come from?
at least for Japan, they do have professional league, so that's a very different thing. But like for China, ever since they made sevens an Olympic sport, the government has just been pouring a lot of money into it. So they bring in a lot of international players that have retired to come in and coach. So literally just passing on that expertise to them. And then obviously because they're sort of being paid to train and play, so they have more time, more exposure.
And it's not just being paid to play, it's that you don't have another job, so you have time to rest.
Correct.
Right? I'm sure your job, if someone wants to train from 8 to 9 at night, you're not going to say no, so you probably do it. But then you probably don't get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Training at 6 o'clock, you don't have that full rest and recovery schedule, right?
Yeah, so that's our sort of like not an excuse, but like that's sort of our pitfall. Because a lot of us, like for myself, like you mentioned, like obviously if there's an opportunity to make money, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I have to make that sacrifice, right? I still need to put food on the table for myself and my family, like my parents, right? So obviously if a client wants to train 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and then I'm training until like 10 p.m. the night before, so essentially I go to, but by the time I get home, eat my dinner, I'm close to midnight, get like 5 hours of sleep. I'm up again. So
And you probably need at least 8 or 10 hours to get your
correct.
body to recover.
Yeah.
It's not an easy sport, right?
Yeah. So that's our sort of shortfall that we have. Yeah.
So tell me this, I was talking to my friend Natalie Dow. She said that last weekend you were in Thailand at the A6 Women's Retreat. Why were you at a women's retreat?
Because secretly a woman, just kidding. So I was invited down by A6 to be one of the team captains for their retreat.
As part of the personal training expertise and going there.
Yeah, sort of, I guess. Like,
I was just wondering, it's just like, it seemed a bit funny that they have a women's retreat and there's like a dude standing in the middle there.
Everybody asked me, like, what are you doing at a women's retreat? Everybody has been asking me that. I was like, just got invited. So it was an opportunity to sort of get more exposure as well for myself, just to be in an all women's environment. Like, I think because I recently have this brilliant opportunity to start coaching doing the S&C, the strength and conditioning for the National Women's 15s program.
Okay. Which is the main team, right?
Correct.
15s is the full squad.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So like when I first went in, like I was a bit shell shocked because I have never been the most natural person, especially with the opposite sex. Like I'm always a bit awkward. Like
Okay.
So
it's easy to train a bunch of dudes.
100%.
But suddenly it's only women, right? It's not even mixed. It's only women.
correct, and then like you got to watch the words you say, stuff like that.
Yeah. I can't tell people that are being too dramatic.
No, you can't tell people that's too light. You're like, huh? Yeah. So having this 15s program thing, and then this A6 women's retreat came up, and I was like, this might actually be a good opportunity for me to sort of put myself in an uncomfortable situation
Yeah.
and learn. And To quote my current coach, the current national team coach, Paul Titchens, he said this one phrase that I always live by now. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
Yeah, sure.
So I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, we do the same thing every day and not going to make any difference, right?
Yeah. So very blessed with the opportunities I've been given, and honestly, no regrets. And I loved every moment of it.
Yeah.
Although I had to miss training, I missed 4 trainings.
I'm sure it just pays off. Anyway, hey, so when I contacted you to do this, I didn't realize that you actually been to this clinic before, right? Do you have PTSD being in here again? Because you came in here, I think, during COVID for dislocated shoulder or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So I first stepped foot into this clinic back in 2020. I dislocated my shoulder twice.
Yeah. That's got to be the most common rugby injury.
Yeah, so the whole story actually happened. So I dislocated my shoulder 2 months prior to 2019 SEA Games.
Okay.
So I didn't opt to do a surgery.
So rugby is a SEA Games sport then?
Yeah, rugby is a SEA Games sport. And that's why I'm training hard as well, because we have SEA Games at the
end of this year, right? Yeah.
I'm gunning for that. But yeah, so back to the stories like 2019. So 2019 SEA Games was in December, sorry. I dislocated my shoulder mid-Sep 2019, and then I took about a month to just properly rehab it with the national physio, and then to keep myself in contention to still compete in SEA Games. And thankfully I was blessed enough to get that opportunity to go. And then came back, went back into the national league that we have, like the 15-a-side league we have. And then unfortunately I busted my shoulder again.
Same one?
Same one, yeah.
Yeah, because once it's thought out the first time, it's a bit lax, right?
Correct, yeah. So went to see the specialist, and he was like, yeah, you probably should consider getting it fixed, because back then I was still pretty young.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to continue playing rugby, it's better to fix so that you don't get the reoccurrence so often.
So they did surgery on you.
So initially I was going to go to a public hospital, but then it was quite interesting. The day before my surgery, the hospital called me. Your doctor got into an accident. We need to reschedule your surgery.
Okay.
So it's like, wait a minute. I don't mean to laugh at it, but it was funny. So I was like, okay, sure, let's just reschedule it. Then I was like, how long later? And they'll be like, a month. And I was like,
you can't sit down a month.
Yeah, that's too long. So I was like, okay, I'll get back to you again. Then I straight away rang up the private doctor that I know. It's like, okay, I did this to my shoulder. Do you think we can operate it? And he was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And thankfully I did that, because the 2 days later, I think we had the lockdown, and scheduled in my surgery before.
Just nice.
Yeah, and he put in the request just before they announced the lockdown, so I still could go ahead with my surgery, because.
So that's like mid-March 2020.
Yeah, and I literally remember the moment I woke up from surgery, I looked out, it was like, oh, it looks like a zombie apocalypse just happened. The streets were empty.
Yeah.
And I was struggling. I was thinking to myself, if I call my dad to come and pick me, do you think the government is going to...
They might not even...
Yeah, they might not let him out. So I had to take a cab home, if I remember correctly. And yeah, and then he referred me to come to see Sarah here, because the doctor is a rugby doctor as well, so he knows Sarah.
Yep.
So came over and then got that rehab done. And thankfully, like, with lockdown and everything, like, there was no rush to get back to the field.
Is that the worst injury that you've had?
Yeah. I would say, to be honest, I've been very well looked after.
Okay. Yeah.
By God.
Yeah.
That He has protected me.
And a guardian angel protecting you.
Yeah, correct. Because I've seen teammates that have stopped playing because of certain injuries.
Well, there's concussions. There's like ACL tears, meniscus,
correct.
Shoulders, probably broken collarbones even, right?
Yeah, so I've been pretty blessed with just this one is my biggest.
So tell me this. If you see, so you've been on the team for a long time. You're co-captain now of the national team, right? What is the ideal rugby player in your eyes? If someone comes in and they're super talented, for example, is that better than someone that's hardworking, or is it the size that matters, or what are you guys looking for as the unicorn sort of sportsman or sports lady in the women's team as well?
Well, if you ask me, I would say personally for myself, I would say as long as you're your hard work matches up with your talent, like, or rather vice versa. Like if your talent matches up with your hard work. So you can be very talented, but if you're not willing to put in the hard work, then you're gonna fall off. Like your talent can bring you so far, but it's not gonna keep you long in the game.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like I think a lot of us need to sharpen that hunger.
Okay.
So that the mental side of the game, like we always want to get better. Like the problem is that, or rather not the problem, but some issues that we have is that we hype up our talents too much.
Yeah.
So they always think like, oh yes, I'm
And also during when you're the adolescent years, some kids will develop faster than others. Right.
Yeah.
So there might be some 6 foot, like 14-year-old that just dominates.
Yeah.
But he might not be all that skillful.
Correct, yeah.
He's just a beast.
Yeah,
right.
correct. Yeah.
And then once everyone hits 17, 18, when they're all 6 feet tall, he's not going to be as good, right?
Correct. Yeah. So like even for myself, like to be honest, like I was not like a standout rugby player going through my entire school life, all the way through. But I would say that I always had big dreams in a sense. So growing up, one of my core dream was to be an Olympian. Sadly, I play
Not Olympic sport.
no, it's an Olympic sport, but
Not Olympic.
it's a team sport.
Not
so
Olympic
they-
country.
Yeah, we need to go through a lot of changes before I can actually compete at that level to really go in. But maybe one day, who knows? The door's not closed yet, so we'll see. Maybe. Yeah. So that was always my dream. But then, like when you're young, you never learn about SMART goals. Yeah. This was a SMART goal, but it was definitely not realistic at all. So that was So I was always pretty ambitious in that sense. So I never actually thought about how, like, you know, I had to be a standout player to feel good. Like I just kept grinding at it. And then just really been really lucky with opportunities. So
when was it that you felt, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I want to, this is my life.
like, okay, I
You
was,
said sec 1, sec 2, you kind of fell out of it, right?
yeah, honestly, I wouldn't say that I was really good at it, but like, so in 2019, 2020, the rugby, during the club leagues that was running in Singapore, like, my coach Dan actually, asked me to consider going overseas to try playing, because he thinks like, you know, I have that potential, which sat in me, and I was like, oh, you know, if this guy comes in and tells you this, right?
Yeah.
It probably means something, and it's not like he comes from abroad.
Yeah.
So obviously he has seen the competition around. So to think that you as a Singaporean can go over and hold your own meant a lot to me. And I was pretty ready to go, but COVID happened.
Oh.
So
And the injury happened as well.
and yeah, thankfully the injury happened during COVID as well. So that happened, and then I remember because we were slowly returning back to normality, right? With 5, then it was I think 10,
yeah.
something like that. But yeah, we're slowly reopening, and then one day I was just thinking to myself like, I'm not young anymore, right? I'm slowly getting older. Like maybe I should just give it a try, right? And then just spoke to people that mattered to me, and they said, yeah, go ahead, like have a crack at it.
Yeah.
And then I rang up my coach. I was like, is your offer still on? Can I still come? So he was like, yeah, sure, come. Made the arrangements. Then I flew down to Sydney.
Yeah.
Played. So I was playing in the shoot competition in Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, but I never made first grade. So it's always reserve grade. So second grade was the highest, which I felt it was still good enough for me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize how the Australian culture for sport is just so intense.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Because you grow up doing it, it's all around you. Even as adults, you have leagues and stuff that people play in, right? So even the B team is still really, really, really good.
Yeah, right. Correct. Like even like so going there, then that everything set reality actually set in, because you realize there were so many more talented players out there, right? And they're not getting picked up by professional clubs, and that actually weighed down on me a bit, because I was like, how then am I gonna get to the dream of being a professional rugby player if this guy who's way better than me from New Zealand can't get a pro contract?
Yeah.
But then it was still good exposure. Like I enjoyed every moment there.
Yeah.
Sadly, I only spent 1 season there, and I came back, and then I was blessed to go to Netherlands after, and I played for like 3 months, and then I came back. Then started back in the national setup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what next? What next for you yourself, and what next for sort of the national team? Is that SEA Games? Is that what everyone's preparing for?
Yep. So for us, currently the national sevens, we have three main tournaments that we are gunning for. We've got the Asia Rugby Sevens series. So the first leg of that is in China in September. Then we have it. The second leg is in Sri Lanka.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then end of the year in December we're going to Thailand for SEA Games.
SEA Games. And how likely is it to medal in the SEA Games? Is it
We're definitely gunning for at least top spot.
okay? So last you went to the last SEA Games, right? Did you guys medal? Did you guys win?
So the last SEA Games was it's a bit like a redemption up for us right now. Like last SEA Games, unfortunately, we finished fourth. We lost to Thailand in the third, fourth, so we missed out on a medal.
Oh, okay.
It's horrible. Yeah. Yeah. It was a disappointing campaign, and then we all felt like it was
We could have done better.
definitely we felt like we could have done better. But what made things worse was that COVID happened after.
Yeah.
And it's like you have no way to right that wrong.
Okay. So SEA Games, it's not in the SEA Games it's not in every SEA Games.
Yeah. So the last edition of the SEA Games in Vietnam, because Vietnam doesn't play rugby, so they didn't have it. But but then the upcoming one in Thailand they will, and then 2 years later in Malaysia they will, and then 2029 in Singapore they will.
Are you hoping to be still playing in 2029 in Singapore?
Yeah, 100%. That's my pinned in swan song at this point.
That's a lot of people say that, right? For the runners that I've talked to as well, and triathletes, they're all waiting for SEA Games Singapore to come along, and then it's like we'll take it one step at a time after that, because like play in front of your whole team, your home crowd. You'll sleep in your own bed.
I think like for me, as long as I'm still able to give my 100% and more, like I'm still an asset in the sense. Like I still can deliver on the field and off the field. I would definitely want to be part of it. And I think I do enjoy playing in front of my parents. So like growing up, like I never had that opportunity to have my parents come for all my games because they were very busy working. And I was always like envious of my friends and also like disappointed. Like you do questions as a kid, right? You're like, oh, you go home. You have your game, you won, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got to shower and go home by myself, and then you see the teammates have their parents.
It's pretty intense, actually. I went to one of the school games, and there are parents with tripods and cameras, and they're videoing the whole thing, and then they have a highlights reel, and then they're bringing in the eskies of drinks, and stuff like that.
So I always sort of missed that part out of my childhood, but as I've gone into adulthood, like I enjoy my parents coming to watch me play, and my dad is,
You're number one supporter.
He's an absolute beast on the sideline, the shouting all the time. My mom is always so embarrassed. She always tries to
It's only the games, right?
I don't know, this guy doesn't know my husband. And there goes, there's my son.
So my last question is, you've been doing this for 20 years. You've been in the national team for 8 years, right? What if you could meet your 15-year-old self, for example, or even your 18-year-old self? What have you learned along this way, that the biggest lessons learned along this way you'd just tell Maurice, 18-year-old Maurice?
Well, to be honest, like I think the cliche would be I wouldn't change anything. But if you ask,
that's the Miss Universe answer.
Everything was universal answer. But to be honest, like if I really could, and it wouldn't impact anything. But it would have made me a better person and a better player in terms of rugby at this point in time. I would say is to have first and foremost taken my strength and conditioning more seriously last time. Meaning really doing my gym work. And
because when you're young, everything's easy, right? It's like you can wake up at 3, you can go to sleep at 3, wake up at 5, and then you just go straight to training, or you're in better shape.
I think it's not just the ease of like recovery, but it also is like that's puberty, right? It helps you because you have that growth hormone. So you're actually your body's actually pumping extra hard for you to grow. But we never saw that. It's like, I don't want to lift weights. It's so boring. It's this and that. Like I'll not forget, like when we were 14, when we were 15, 16, that's the first time we got introduced to going to the gym. And then like, because then that was the first year we had a coach from New Zealand.
Okay.
come into St. Andrews. He came to take over, and then he was coaching us, and that's where he started introducing us to strength and conditioning. And then it's like, okay, you got to do this exercise, and I'll not forget bench press. I'll just go down, take a little nap.
Yeah, right. Pretend that you're doing something.
Yeah, just lie down, have my hands up, and then snooze for bigger Gunnings. So it's like horrible. So I only started properly like gymming when I was in the army.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I definitely missed out a few years of growth and potential in that sense. And then second thing, I definitely will be taking that mental.
Yeah, sports psych. I was going to say. You said before, sports psych is important, and it's really, really because we do some talks with sports psychs sometimes from the clinic here, and it's really one of those forgotten aspects of people. It's like any psych, it's like counseling, and it's even like marriage counseling or whatever, right? People think they don't need it, right? People don't realize, like life coaching, right? People think they don't need it, they're doing just fine, but just like any coaching or any sort of, it's just a third party to guide you along the way and make sure that you don't go too wayward, right?
Yeah, correct. Like I think the interesting thing about sports psych is that you never really know you need it until you need it, but when you need it, it's probably too late. It's a bit like insurance, right? You buy it because you want to be insured. Like you don't want to use it.
Yep.
But when you have to use it, at least it's there. Yep. In the toolbox. So same thing like sports psych. It's the most underrated thing. I would say. It's like physical. You can always nail that.
Yeah.
You can push yourself harder on the field or in the gym.
Yeah.
Whatever. Skills like technical part of it. You can
practice more.
Same. Tactical part of it. You just need to nail the game plans. Make sure.
Or watch some reels and watch some games.
Understand where you have to be, stuff like that. But the mental part of it, it's if you don't seek help, like some external proper help, right? Then you will never.
And rugby's such a macho game that it's like
hard to.
people aren't gonna. You're not gonna talk about your feelings to your mates in the showers, right?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that like the professional teams all have a proper sports side.
Yeah. And they probably do Pilates and yoga and stuff as well. Like all these very non-macho things.
Like, I would say even like when you watch some of the, because technology is so advanced.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams go very big in the behind the scenes stuff. So there are a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you see. Even some of the coaches are actually trained psychologists, or they do take certain courses because
or maybe they're good coaches because it could be a chicken or the egg, right? Maybe they're good coaches because they are trained psychologists. Yeah, not so much the other way around.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like they do like sit down, like have a chat. Oh, okay. What are you gonna nail in the game? Okay, you didn't do this so well. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind?
Yeah.
Or even go down to that human level. Like, oh, sorry, you didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
But these are the reasons. How you feeling? Are you alright? Stuff like that. I think that's the human element.
And they've got to be good motivators, right? Coaches have always got to be good motivators, right?
100%. Yeah.
So, what's the best way to get a hold of you? It's more rice.
Yep.
1413.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen. More rice, as in like eat more rice. And that's your Instagram handle. Best way to reach out to you would just be by Instagram. You're pretty active on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other reason why I chose Maurice is because growing up, no one could spell my name.
Yeah.
Every time I tell Maurice, there'll be Morris. I'll be like, I need to put rice in there so that everybody knows it.
It's like when I used to live in America, people wouldn't understand my accent. So I go to Starbucks or Coffee Bean or something, and I say they always write your name on the cup.
Yep.
And they want Martin, and it's like Martin or Morton or something. So I just my Starbucks name was like Tommy. So if it's something that they can't misspell, right? Yeah. So okay, Maurice, thank you so much for coming in. Yeah. We'll catch up again. Hopefully not getting injured, and we'll see you in the clinic. But we'll be seeing you at SEA Games.
Yes, please.
No worries.
Thank you.